Hey everybody, it's Never, and I just wanted to make a quick video explaining something that occurred to me about the new Obi-Wan Kenobi series. This has some minor spoilers up through episode 3, so if you're watching it, make sure that you've seen it if you don't want spoilers. There's some confusion, especially with the things that happen in the third episode, as to what is going on and how does it make any sense. And I want to explain a couple of things that I thought of that explain this for me. First of all, I want to point out that I think the Sith Inquisitors are bad characters. Not that they're evil, because they kind of are, but I think that they're just not a very interesting idea. They could have been, and maybe I'll make another video about that, but I think as presented, they're just not that interesting. If you'd like to hear how I would have done the Sith Inquisitors, then leave a comment below and let me know, and I will put together something else for another video. But on to Obi-Wan Kenobi. First of all, I think that Obi-Wan is portrayed very well, and in fact, all the characters are portrayed very well. The acting is superb. There's a little bit of writing here or there that's kind of meh, and I could take or leave, but I can't fault any of the actors for anything that they've done. I'm frustrated with people that are calling the actor who plays Reva a diversity hire, things like that. I don't really think that calling out the actor for just doing their job in acting is a good thing. If you want to complain about the character, call out the writing, call out the people who made the character. I'm not particularly fond of the character. I think that there are ways that that part of the story could have been handled that are more interesting. But that's neither here nor there. So here's the thing that makes the Obi-Wan Kenobi series make sense to me. And it actually makes a lot of other stuff make sense. Obi-Wan Kenobi has PTSD. Obi-Wan Kenobi has got post-traumatic stress disorder, and he's got it bad. You can see this through a few of his behaviors. Number one is that he is terrified of not only Vader, once he finds out he's alive still, but he's terrified of anything to do with it. He's terrified of dangerous situations. He's terrified of his lightsaber. He's terrified of using the Force. It takes him a lot of effort to do any of the things that he formerly was able to do with very little thought or effort at all. This is also evidence in his sort of forgetfulness. One of the things that often accompanies PTSD, as I understand it, is memory loss in some various forms. And his Freudian slip of using Leia's real name instead of the fake name is a good example of how something that would have been so easy and routine for him as using a false identity is now rather difficult. He's distracted. This explains a lot of his later behavior, where he says he doesn't seem to remember ever owning a droid when he's confronted with R2-D2, or how he even calls Darth Vader Darth as if it's a first name during their encounter in the end of episode 4. Now, I realize that the actual reason for that is because the story simply hadn't been that fleshed out at that point, but it's a good way to explain it in-universe as to why he would say something like that. So I want to keep this short, but that's just the basic premise of it. Obi-Wan has PTSD. There's also another video on YouTube called Obi-Wan Has PTSD that I would recommend you take a look at. It was made a few years ago, and it's a very good insight into what may have been going on in his mind during a couple of scenes in A New Hope. But anyway, that's all I've got. Thanks for watching. I hope that this helps you enjoy the show a little more. Go through and watch the show, at least especially episode 3 again, with this in mind, and see if you don't notice some other behaviors that Obi-Wan has that clearly identify this problem within him. I think it's an interesting direction for the character to go and makes a lot of seemingly confusing things make a lot more sense. And I guess as an aside or an afterthought, one other thing I want to mention is, why didn't Vader just put the fire out and go get Obi-Wan right away when the fire was lit again by Tala? And why did they both fight so badly? Well, Obi-Wan is too scared to fight properly, and he's very out of practice. Vader is not his former self, and he's just toying with Obi-Wan. He's trying to make him suffer the way that he sees that Obi-Wan made him suffer. And if you listen to the things Anakin says towards the end of Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, yeah, you can see how he would feel that Obi-Wan was his enemy and want to do that. So looking at it this way makes some sense. And I think the reason that Vader didn't put the fire out the second time is either his force power was on cooldown, or more likely, he was confused. He wanted a strong Obi-Wan to overcome and to make suffer and feel justified, and instead, he got Obi-Wan that was scared and inept. And I don't know if you guys have ever tried to get revenge on somebody who's not worth it, but it's just no fun at all. Okay, thanks, bye.